Chapter 3458, 100 Cities Alliance. Let's see who's going to destroy who. Wang Xian stood above the Dragon Palace, staring at the experts from the 100 Cities Alliance as he spoke with killing intent. He today will take you down, the leader of the 100 Cities Alliance said, his eyes filled with killing intent. He swept his gaze across the surrounding experts, and they nodded their heads. Dragon Palace, even if you have made some preparations and your subordinates have left your base, it won't be long before we wipe you all out. Going against the 100 Cities Alliance is courting your own destruction. The expert with a huge eye on his head said as he flew forward. The experts of the 100 Cities Alliance scattered in the surroundings, floating in the void. Moving mountain, filling the sea, thick earth, suppressing demon, sealing demon, falling heavens, closing earth. Out of the 8 first-order sovereigns, 1 was killed by the curse. However, the other 7 experts chanted in a cold voice, their eyes shining brightly. After each word was spat out, the surrounding space began to change violently. Moving mountain, a mountain suddenly appeared above the Dragon Palace. Filling the sea, the surrounding space instantly turned gray. Thick earth was located around the Dragon Palace. Terrifying city walls appeared. Suppressing demon, a humongous palm descended from the sky. Sealing demon, 2 talismans intersected, appearing in the air. Falling heavens, surrounding darkness. Closing earth, the ground shook. They spat out words from their mouths, and the energy from their bodies surged towards the surroundings. This scene seemed to change the heavens and earth. Around them, 15 first-order sovereigns waved their arms, and waves of energy surged into the sky. Wang Xian stood on top of the Dragon Palace and watched with a solemn expression. Given his current strength, he could deal with 7 second-order sovereigns. However, the prerequisite was that they did not have any powerful Xiantian treasures. However, it was clear that each of them had at least 2 or 3 Xiantian treasures. When his companion spirit, Lingling, was still in hibernation, he did not have the confidence to deal with the 7 of them. Not to mention, the 15 first-order sovereigns weren't existences the Dragon Palace could deal with. The cursed dragon saw this scene and immediately flew up into the sky. Bam bam bam. However, when they flew into the sky, they were blocked by an invisible energy. When they collided with it, the energy did not move at all. A cursed being would only attack the other party after it was killed. If they collided and died, then the curse had no effect on them. In other words, the other party could be sealed by the Dragon Palace and not be cursed. Unless they were sealed in the Dragon Palace and died because of the seal, they would suffer karma. Only then would they be cursed. However, the probability of that happening was far too small. Therefore, although they could not do anything to the cursed dragon, they could seal the Dragon Palace directly. Buzz! The old man standing in the middle waved his arm, and items fell on the surrounding phantoms. The mountain began to descend, pressing down on the Dragon Palace. The surrounding seawater quickly disappeared and was covered by the gray earth attribute. The city walls began to approach, surrounding the Dragon Palace. One by one, the void objects began to seal and suppress the Dragon Palace. What a strange suppression technique. After the Dragon Palace is suppressed, it will be extremely difficult for me to break it open. Unless a third-order sovereign realm expert makes a move. When Wang Xian sensed the interlocking suppression methods, he was shocked. He hesitated for a moment before he entered the Dragon Palace. There aren't many members in the Dragon Palace. They must have guessed that we will come to annihilate them. Therefore, most of their members have fled. I guess they will come after us again. The expert whose head was like an eye seemed to be able to see through the Dragon Palace as he spoke coldly. As long as they dare to attack our 100 Cities Alliance, we will be able to annihilate them. The old man who was leading the group revealed strong confidence. Their 100 Cities Alliance had many experts, and they had all sorts of methods. The sorcerer lineage had many experts as well. Using witchcraft, as long as the Dragon Palace disciples dared to attack their cities, they could use witchcraft to track them down. At that time, the other party would not be able to escape. Based on their guesses, the Dragon Palace should not have any second-order sovereign realm experts. To them, This did not affect them at all. Wang Xian stood in the Dragon Palace, quietly watching the Dragon Palace being suppressed. The terrifying seal isolated the Dragon Palace from everything else. The Dragon Palace was suppressed. He moved and immediately came to the location of the Dragon Cave. He looked at the Fire Dragon Palace and Devil Dragon Dark World that were being devoured. Roving Crab and the rest were devouring them. Roving Crab, how long more before you can devour them completely? What realm will your strength reach after devouring? Wang Xian asked them. Dragon King, we will need another 10 years or so. By then, our devouring dragon should be able to produce over 20 second-order sovereign realm experts. Roving Crab reported immediately. This was different from what they had expected. Wang Xian had thought that Roving Crab would only be able to raise his strength to the first or second-order sovereign realm. However, he had underestimated the energy contained in the Fire Dragon Palace and Devil Dragon Dark World. These two were once the dragon palaces of true universe dominators. In other words, they were dragon palaces that were at least at the universe sovereign realm. Even after the corrosion of time, they could still improve significantly after devouring. All right, continue devouring. Wang Xian nodded his head. The devouring dragon could only fight 2 ranks higher. Since they could reach the second-order sovereign realm, it meant that they had reached the pinnacle of the universe supremacy realm. It would be difficult to reach the true universe sovereign realm with the help of the Fire Dragon Palace. It has been completely suppressed. Unless an expert like the ancestral dragon leader intervenes, the Dragon Palace will never see the light of day. After a few hours, outside the Dragon Palace, the old man leading the 100 Cities Alliance said coldly, "Let's go back and inform all the cities to be on guard against a sneak attack from the Dragon Palace." As they spoke, their figures gradually disappeared and left. Swish! When they were completely gone, Enlai's figure appeared outside. He took a look and returned to the Dragon Palace. Dragon King, the experts from the 100 Cities Alliance have left. Enlai reported to Wang Xian. All right, let's go. The war has begun. Wang Xian revealed a faint smile and stepped into the demonic dragon sacrificial altar. The suppression of the Dragon Palace did not affect them at all. Their figures disappeared and they came to the base of the Dragon Palace for a long time, the blessed grotto heaven under the water of the heavens. However, on the Universe AI, the news of the Dragon Palace being suppressed was intentionally spread by the 100 Cities Alliance, and it immediately caused a sensation. Chapter 3459. Our 100 Cities Alliance has already announced that the Dragon Palace has been suppressed. Haha, that reckless thing dared to kill a member of the 100 Cities Alliance? The Dragon Palace is still too weak. They challenged the 100 Cities Alliance, and the 100 Cities Alliance sent out experts to suppress them. The 100 Cities Alliance has released a message. Although they have suppressed the Dragon Palace, most of the members of the Dragon Palace have already escaped. However, the 100 Cities Alliance will annihilate all the members of the Dragon Palace in the future. He's too strong. The Dragon Palace didn't even have the slightest resistance and was directly suppressed. After the experts of the 100 Cities Alliance returned, they immediately spread the news of the disappearance of the Dragon Palace. There were 2 reasons why they released the news. The first was to show off the strength of the 100 Cities Alliance. The second was to prepare for the 100 Cities Alliance's hunt of the divine dragon bloodline disciples. In the future, as long as the 100 Cities Alliance did not kill the experts of the ancestral dragon's lineage, they could pin the killing on the members of the Dragon Palace. On the Universe AI, the experts and disciples of the other powers didn't know the intentions of the 100 Cities Alliance. The disciples of the 100 Cities Alliance cheered and shouted that the Dragon Palace was courting death. The other forces were also slightly shocked by the strength of the 100 Cities Alliance. After all, it was an alliance formed by 100 cities, and its strength was extremely terrifying. At this moment, Wang Xian was in the blessed grotto heaven below the heavenly water of the Tianheng River. He looked at the information on the AI and revealed a cold smile. Although the Dragon Palace was suppressed this time, it didn't affect them at all. On the contrary, a second-order sovereign from the 100 Cities Alliance died from the backlash of killing the cursed dragon. Now, the so-called suppression of the 100 Cities Alliance was a good cover for the Dragon Palace. Dragon King, the alliance of the 100 cities is too arrogant. They issued a kill order, saying that if they meet any disciple of the Dragon Palace in the future, they will kill them all. At the side, Prime Minister Turtle was enraged when he saw the information on the artificial intelligence. It had been a long time since they had encountered such a savage enemy. Indeed, they are a little arrogant. Do they really think that we are easy to deal with? Wang Xian's face was filled with sarcasm. This time, the 100 Cities Alliance was here to suppress the Dragon Palace. If Wang Xian were to retaliate, it would be impossible for them to suppress the Dragon Palace. However, if he counterattacked, the other party would send even more experts. It was just unnecessary. There was no need for him to reveal his strength. Dragon King, now that the devilish 8 branches have improved, with their strength, if they're lucky, they'll be able to control a city within a year. If they're unlucky, they'll need at most a few years. At that time, we'll make the 100 Cities Alliance pay a terrible price. Prime Minister Turtle said with a murderous look. Wang Xian nodded. Order all the disciples of Dragon Palace outside to be extremely careful. They must be wary of all living creatures. It's Dragon King. Prime Minister Turtle nodded. Buzz buzz. At this time, Wang Xinyu received a message from the Azure Dragon Moon. He asked about the Dragon Palace. Wang Xian replied, telling her not to worry. Brother Wang Xian, be careful. According to the information we received, all the cities in the 100 Cities Alliance have sent out a group of elites to form a team of members from the Dragon Extermination Palace. You must be extremely careful. Based on our guess, they will hunt down the divine dragon bloodline without restraint. Azure Dragon Moon sent over another message. Upon seeing this message, Wang Xian squinted his eyes. Brother Azure Dragon Moon, do you mean that the enemy will attack all those with divine dragon bloodlines? Wang Xian replied immediately. That should be the case. According to some information obtained by the experts from the ancestral dragon lineage, the 100 Cities Alliance seems to have joined in. However, they will not attack the disciples and members of the ancestral dragon lineage on the surface for now. You must be careful. Azure Dragon Moon replied quickly. Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he read Azure Dragon Moon's message. The 100 Cities Alliance did not dare to join in fully. However, they had made some moves in the dark. Moreover, they had formed a team to hunt down the members of the Dragon Palace. This team claimed to be hunting down the disciples of the Dragon Palace. In reality, they were hunting down all those with divine dragon bloodline. As long as the other party was not an expert or disciple of the ancestral dragon lineage that was known to the public, they could consider it as a disciple of the Dragon Palace. The ancestral dragon lineage had been separated for tens of millions of years. Many new divine dragon bloodline were born, and many experts did not know if they were experts from the ancestral dragon lineage. In this case, the 100 Cities Alliance could claim that they were disciples of the Dragon Palace. Most importantly, the experts from the ancestral dragon lineage had clearly encountered some trouble. As such, they did not want to fall out with the 100 Cities Alliance. A team to hunt down disciples of the Dragon Palace. This 100 Cities Alliance is really arrogant. Wang Xian's eyes gleamed coldly. 100 Cities Alliance, you will pay the price soon. He murmured. He sat cross-legged in the grotto heaven and waited quietly for the news from the 8-branched devilish chi. Wang Xian was not in a hurry. He could afford to wait. Moreover, the wait would not be too long. A few years at most. Dragon King, the latest news. A dozen disciples of the Dragon Palace were killed in a small city called Haotian City. More than half of the city was destroyed and there were many casualties. However, 2 months later, a sudden piece of news disrupted Wang Xian's plan. When he heard the news from Prime Minister Turtle, he was stunned. The 100 Cities Alliance acted quickly. In addition, the 100 Cities Alliance seems to be using this method to issue a statement and a warning to the other neutral cities and races to forbid the disciples of the Dragon Palace from entering their cities. Otherwise, they will bear the consequences. Prime Minister Turtle continued. Prime Minister Turtle, did you say that the city is called Haotian City? Wang Xian's expression changed slightly as he asked. Yes, It's called Haotian City. It's a small city with few experts. The experts of the 100 Cities Alliance apologized and said that they would compensate them. However, this is clearly a warning to the other cities. Prime Minister Turtle nodded. Haotian City? Wang Xian's expression turned ugly. He immediately took out the computer and contacted someone. Scholar Fang Wen. The first group of people he met when he arrived at the chaotic continent was from Haotian City. At that time, he had a long chat with Scholar Fang Wen, an expert from the sage bloodline of Haotian City. The other party even gave him some calligraphy and paintings as a gift. Both of them had a good chat and Wang Xian learned a lot from him. However, more than half of Haotian City was destroyed. Wang Xian's eyes were filled with cold killing intent. After the message was sent, time ticked by and there was no reply. Wang Xian closed his eyes and waited. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 10 days later, there was still no reply. Prime Minister Turtle, send someone to Haotian City to investigate a person called Scholar Fang Wen. Wang Xian instructed calmly. He flew out of the grotto heaven and contacted Orochi and the rest immediately. He could not wait any longer. Chapter 3460. Did the 100 Cities Alliance really think that the Dragon Palace could wipe them out easily? Did they really think that they could disregard the Dragon Palace? Their actions showed that they really thought so. He had casually destroyed more than half of Haotian City to deter the other neutral clans from letting the disciples of Dragon Palace enter. They had completely disregarded the Dragon Palace. Perhaps they had done so much to deal with the divine dragon bloodline possessors. Wang Xian's eyes were filled with murderous intent as he flew out quickly. Messages were sent to him from the 8-branched devilish fiend. Wang Xian wasn't sure if Scholar Fang Wen of Haotian City was dead. But based on the situation in Haotian City, at least millions of innocent people had died because of the Dragon Palace. Because the Dragon Palace members were in Haotian City, the 100 Cities Alliance had destroyed half of the city and annihilated the Dragon Palace members. They had no qualms about doing so. Perhaps it was because Haotian City was too weak. Compared to the 100 Cities Alliance, Haotian City could be easily crushed. Phew, since you have destroyed half of Haotian City, I will annihilate a city of the 100 Cities Alliance and make you pay the price. Wang Xian was filled with murderous intent. Previously, even when they annihilated Great Marquis City, they didn't hurt the civilians. They only killed the experts of the other side. But the 100 Cities Alliance didn't care and annihilated half of the Haotian City members. In that case, Wang Xian had nothing to worry about. In his plan, he only needed to wait for the 8-branched devilish fiend and the rest to slowly corrode the inner city of the 100 Cities Alliance. They could annihilate 2 to 3 cities in a few years. How long could the 100 Cities Alliance last? They couldn't hold on for long. But now that half of Haotian City was destroyed and Scholar Fang Wen's fate was unknown, he was thoroughly enraged. Since he wanted to kill, he would kill. Let's see if they could still be so arrogant. 5 days later, Wang Xian entered the city and opened the message sent by the 8-branched devilish fiend. The 8-branched devilish fiend had parasitized a pinnacle supremacy expert in the city. The 8-branched devilish fiend was located in Old Star City of the 100 Cities Alliance, while the devilish fiend was in Tianyi City. Old Star City was dominated by a type of demonic beast. They were called Old Star demonic beasts. They were extremely bloodthirsty and could be ranked top 15 in the 100 Cities Alliance. The Old Star City had 3 first-order sovereigns. The reason why the Orochi chose this city was because the entire race was a soldier, and because they had many bounty hunters. Buzz. Through the teleportation formation, Wang Xian arrived at Old Star City in no time. A murderous and bloodthirsty aura swept over as Wang Xian swept his gaze across the surroundings. This was a blood-red world, and the surrounding buildings were all blood-red in color. Even the clouds in the sky were blood-red. The entire city was huge, and there were experts and disciples of various races in it. Naturally, there were many humans as well. Many darkness elemental cultivators would cultivate here. Wang Xian walked out of the teleportation formation and headed straight for the center of the city. Yamada no Orochi was already making preparations. Half an hour later, he arrived in front of the city lord's mansion. The entrance to Old Star City's City Lord's mansion was a gigantic beast skull. This skull was at least 100,000 meters wide, and from afar, it looked majestic and gave off a powerful might. The skull at the entrance of the City Lord's mansion belonged to a first-order sovereign realm wild beast. Dragon King, the blessed grotto heaven of Old Star City, is inside. However, we haven't received any news about the 3 first-order sovereigns in the city. Their blessed grotto heaven is defensive in nature. Orochi walked out. At this moment, he was residing in the body of an expert in the Old Star City. He had considerable authority and knew many things. All right, send someone to shut down the teleportation formation. We'll attack immediately. Wang Xian said with a murderous look. Yes, Dragon King. A legion of the Old Star City is just ahead. These are the elites of the city. Orochi said. Then, his figure slowly disappeared and he left. He would not participate in the upcoming battle. With Wang Xian's strength alone, he could destroy an entire city. Boom! The moment Orochi disappeared, Wang Xian made his move and flew towards the sky ahead instantly. True dragon body. Mighty heavenly dragon. Divine dragon playing with pearls. Dark ghost doppelganger. Perish. At this moment, Wang Xian appeared in the sky above the City Lord residence. He quickly transformed into a dragon of darkness, exuding terrifying energy. The strongest law of attack, dark ghost doppelganger. Other than the 5 elements grindstone, this was Wang Xian's strongest attack. In an instant, the entire space was enveloped by the terrifying dragon might. That terrifying energy swept out in all directions. Buzz buzz buzz. Ring ring ring. When Wang Xian's energy surged, the defensive array of the Old Star City was activated automatically. The alarm of the entire Old Star City went off immediately. Below the City Lord residence, the 2 demonic beasts opened their eyes. They were blood-red in color, about the size of a human, and had razor-sharp arms. They raised their heads, and a trace of fear appeared in their eyes. This is the power of a second-order sovereign. They roared as a wave of energy surged into the ground. They were going to activate the defense of the blessed grotto heaven. This is bad. Someone is attacking our Old Star City. What a terrifying aura. We're doomed. At this time, all the experts who were enveloped by Wang Xian's attack lifted their heads and shouted in horror. Boom. In the next moment, the terrifying energy landed on the ground, causing the entire Old Star City to tremble violently. Swoosh! Wang Xian transformed into a dragon of darkness, and the unbeginning saint wings appeared on his back as he flew away. He opened his dragon mouth, and countless obliteration flames fell on the ground. It's a divine dragon. A divine dragon is attacking our Old Star City. Run! 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 The sudden attack caught all the experts in the Old Star City off guard. All of them roared crazily. Their figures started to turn illusory as they tried to escape. Boom! However, all the experts and disciples in the Old Star City within a radius of a few billion kilometers couldn't escape. The obliteration flames fell, and all of them died. Within the Old Star City, no one could withstand Wang Xian's attack. He let out a roar and came to another place, where the obliteration flames were destroying everything. At this moment, Wang Xian seemed to have transformed into a world-destroying divine dragon, mercilessly attacking and killing. You're courting death. How dare you kill the disciples and citizens of our Old Star City? The 100 Cities Alliance will not let you off. At the City Lord residence, the defense of the blessed grotto heaven was activated. A first-order sovereign flew out from within the Old Star City. When he saw what was happening outside, his face changed drastically as he screamed in horror. Chapter 3461. Roar. How dare you kill our Dragon Palace's disciples and destroy half of Clear Sky City? From today onwards, our Dragon Palace's disciples will kill all the disciples and experts of the 100 Cities Alliance. All living beings in the 100 Cities Alliance will be treated as enemies of the Dragon Palace. When Wang Xian heard the voices coming from the blessed grotto heavens in Old Star City, he roared. This time, he did not hide anything and attacked as a member of the Dragon Palace. Waves of horrifying energy wreaked havoc across the entire city. Many experts and disciples of Old Star City did not manage to escape in time and were slaughtered by Wang Xian. Under Wang Xian's terrifying speed, the entire city was destroyed. Damn it! Damn it! Dragon Palace, our Old Star City is irreconcilable with you. We won't rest until we die. Within the blessed Grotto Heaven's defenses, the two First Order sovereigns from the Old Star City roared. However, they did not dare to step out as they could sense Wang Xian's terrifying strength. They would be courting death if they stepped out. Now, they could only watch helplessly as their city was destroyed and countless of their people were killed. They could only helplessly relay the news back to the 100 Cities Alliance. As time ticked by, a sea of gray flames rose within the Old Star City. 10 minutes later, the entire city was reduced to ruins. The sounds of attacks disappeared. Too fast. Too fast. Didn't they say that there were no second-order sovereigns in the Dragon Palace? Why do I feel that the one who invaded our city is even more terrifying than a second-order sovereign? Within the blessed Grotto Heaven's defenses, the two First-Order sovereigns from the Old Star City had ugly expressions on their faces. Their bodies trembled violently. Their city was destroyed in such a short period of time. Their home had been completely wiped out. Did the Alliance chief reply? Are the experts from the Alliance here? One of the experts asked with an ugly expression. The experts from the Alliance are here, but it's useless. He was too fast and the teleportation array was destroyed. How did he enter the city so easily? The other expert shook his head. What the hell happened? How did this happen? Our city has been destroyed. Within the defense of the blessed enclave, some of the cultivators who were cultivating in seclusion had just received the news. They flew out and looked at the ruins outside, and their bodies trembled violently. It won't end so easily. All of you die. All of a sudden, a voice that shocked everyone rang out. The two First-Order sovereigns from the Old Star City turned around and roared in disbelief. Poop-you! In the next moment, they saw a figure flash past their eyes, and their vitality rapidly drained away. How was this possible? How did he get into the blessed enclave's defenses? When these two thoughts disappeared, they had already turned into corpses. 10 seconds later, the entire blessed enclave fell silent. Go! Wang Xian whispered. An Lai's figure appeared and disappeared with him. An hour later, he arrived at an extremely distant place. This was the first time Wang Xian had been to this place and he had no idea where it belonged. Although it is a bit risky, it is very satisfying. I am interested to see if your 100 Cities Alliance will still be as arrogant as before. Wang Xian smiled faintly and looked at the map. The land of demon bones? He looked at the information on the AI's map and was slightly taken aback. The land of demon bones was a location at the edge of the pinnacle race of the universe, the skeleton race. It was rumored that this place was the site of a great war in the previous era. Countless corpses were buried here, and the corpses had turned into bones over time. Some experts had once dug down for millions of kilometers, but they still found corpses. Moreover, most of the corpses had lost their energy and were only left with great hardness. Because they had lost all kinds of energy, they were not much different from firm rocks. However, among these corpses, some still contained energy, and these corpses were known as demon bones. Some demon bones developed sentience and became skeletons. There were also demon bones that did not develop sentience, and became demon skeletons that only knew how to kill and think. Some demon bones were refined into treasures that possessed great offensive power. This was a land of treasures, but also a dangerous place. However, according to the information on the AI, this place was frequented by sorcerers and dark attribute experts. Within the land of demon bones, there were several powerful races and factions. One of them was from the sorcerer lineage, and it was extremely terrifying. I can take a look around. If I can get some demon bones, I can upgrade the Tai Chi Dragon Plate. Wang Xian thought to himself. After flying out of the Old Star City, he did not return to the blessed Grotto Heaven at the Water of the Heavens. Although it was very safe there. But this time, when he came out, he had the idea of improving. If he could make another breakthrough, He could go head-on with the 100 Cities Alliance. Let's take a look ahead. Wang Xian looked at the map and flew towards the edge of the land of Demon Bones. Just as Wang Xian stepped into the land of Demon Bones, the AI located in the region of the 100 Cities Alliance was in an uproar. The Old Star City was destroyed, and countless disciples and experts were killed. Even 2 First-Order sovereigns were killed. This caused a huge commotion. During this period of time, the 100 Cities Alliance was incomparably strong. Not long ago, they killed a few disciples of the Dragon Palace in a small city and even destroyed half of the city. Although they apologized, it was clearly a warning to the other neutral factions to prohibit the disciples of the Dragon Palace from entering. Otherwise, they would have to bear the consequences. This made many disciples and citizens of the 100 Cities Alliance proud. This represented the strength and foundation of the 100 Cities Alliance. Ever since the 100 Cities Alliance said that they were going to destroy the Dragon Palace was suppressed, and their disciples were killed. This made the disciples and citizens of the 100 Cities Alliance think that the Dragon Palace was just SOSO. Offending them was simply courting death. But today, when the news of the Old Star City being destroyed spread, all the disciples and citizens of the 100 Cities Alliance trembled violently. How is this possible? The Dragon Palace destroyed another city of our 100 Cities Alliance, and this time, they didn't even spare the citizens. There were countless casualties. What's going on? How did they do it? There aren't many universe sovereigns in the Old Star City, but in terms of disciples and army, they can be ranked top 15 in the 100 Cities Alliance. How could they be destroyed so quickly? The disciples of the 100 Cities Alliance discussed in disbelief. Chapter 3462, Old Star City was annihilated. A huge city, a powerful high-ranking clan. In a short few minutes, it was completely annihilated. This caused everyone to be extremely shocked. Didn't the 100 Cities Alliance kill Dragon Palace's disciples easily? Wasn't Dragon Palace easily suppressed? How did another city of the 100 Cities Alliance get destroyed? What's going on? Didn't the 100 Cities Alliance look down on Dragon Palace? Didn't Dragon Palace not put up any resistance? Now another city got annihilated? Compared to the shock and fear of the 100 Cities Alliance, the other factions were even more shocked. Ever since they found out that Eternal Sky City was annihilated by Dragon Palace, the 100 Cities Alliance had never put Dragon Palace in their eyes. Dragon Palace was easily suppressed, and some Dragon Palace's disciples were easily killed. The experts and disciples of the mainland's forces also thought so. But now, Old Star City had been annihilated by Dragon Palace's experts. This was shocking. Old Star City was definitely not weak in the 100 Cities Alliance. Furthermore, it had 2 First-Order Universe Sovereigns personally guarding it. Now, 2 First-Order Universe Sovereigns were killed, and the city was annihilated. The Dragon Palace's experts had escaped easily. If Dragon Palace could annihilate Old Star City, did that mean they could annihilate other cities too? Was Dragon Palace a place they could kill so easily? The citizens of the 100 Cities Alliance also thought of this problem. Dragon Palace wasn't a place they could kill so easily. On the contrary, they wouldn't be able to bear the consequences. If one day, Dragon Palace's experts came to their city, they would be annihilated. The 100 Cities Alliance was originally a neutral faction. They formed an alliance to protect themselves. In essence, every city was neutral. But now, their peace was completely shattered. They were passively participating in the war. This caused many citizens of the 100 Cities Alliance to be unhappy. They wanted the 100 Cities Alliance to give them an explanation as soon as possible. Some of the cities formed by different clans were more united. But most of the citizens of the 100 Cities Alliance lived in the cities because they were more peaceful and didn't participate in any wars. There was security. Now that there was no security, why would they still stay in the 100 Cities Alliance? Wouldn't it be better to go to other cities? Especially to the merchants? Alliance Master, Old Star City was destroyed by Dragon Palace. At the same time, in the base of the 100 Cities Alliance, 5 experts of the 100 Cities Alliance flew to the mountain peak in the center and reported with ugly expressions. The Dragon Palace has a second-order universe sovereign? The leader of the 100 Cities Alliance opened his eyes and frowned. Yes, it's a dark divine dragon. Its strength is extremely terrifying, and it destroyed Old Star City in a very short period of time. Right now, some people in our 100 City Alliance are panicking, afraid that their cities will be attacked. The old man in the lead said, "The 100 Cities Alliance was different from some other races. The races were very united. The cities of the 100 Cities Alliance attracted disciples and experts through neutrality and peace. If the peace was gone, the foundation would fall apart." Dark Dragon? Did he erase his aura? The leader of the 100 City Alliance asked. No, the people we sent haven't arrived yet. The crowd shook their heads. I'll go there myself. The Alliance Lord of the 100 Cities Alliance slowly stood up and said coldly. He was 12 meters tall, with the head of a divine dragon and the tail of a golden dragon. His body was like a human, but on his chest, there were many terrifying eyes. Each eye was the size of a human's head. So, the leader of the 100 City Alliance disappeared, but the 5 experts did not follow him. With their speed, they couldn't catch up. One day later, the 100 City Alliance's leader appeared in the sky above Old Star City. On his chest, the eyes scanned the area below. There were ruins below, but the eyes seemed to be able to see through time. Soon, one of the dozen or so eyes on his chest slowly turned pitch black. On it, there was a divine dragon. He stretched out his palm. It was an abnormally terrifying claw, with sharp thorns and strange suction cups on it. He grabbed the eye on his chest and forcefully plucked it off. His figure started to turn illusory. Very quickly, he appeared at the base of the 100 Cities Alliance. Within that mountain peak, 5 figures were still waiting there. Leader. When they saw the leader of the 100 Cities Alliance return, they immediately greeted him. Reddit, take this eye of mine, find that black dragon and kill it. The leader of the 100 Cities Alliance handed his eye to the expert with the eye on his head. Yes, leader. I'll go now. Red Eye looked passionate when he saw the eye. Not only did the eye have powerful divine powers, but it also had a part of the leader's power. There's no hurry. I'll contact the experts of the Sacred Dragon Bloodline and ask them to send experts with you. The Dragon Palace is obviously the enemy of the Sacred Dragon Bloodline. They must help. The leader of the 100 City Alliance added. Red Eye nodded. Also, inform all the city lords of the 100 Cities Alliance to set up a special teleportation formation. If any city is in danger, ask for help immediately. The leader of the 100 City Alliance ordered. The 5 experts of the 100 Cities Alliance immediately responded and left quickly. The leader of the 100 Cities Alliance looked in the direction they left and fell into deep thought. The 100 Cities Alliance was in an uproar as experts and disciples from various races discussed. At this moment, Wang Xian had arrived at the land of Devil Bone. It's hard to imagine what kind of war could produce so many horrifying skeletons. Wang Xian hovered above the edge of the land of Devil Bone, looking down in shock. At a glance, there were all kinds of skeletons. Even for millions of kilometers below, there were only skeletons with no end in sight. According to records, a First-Order Universe Sovereign would need about 10 years to fly across the land of Devil Bone. How vast was this region? Why were there so many skeletons here? What kind of war happened here? Any expert who came here would have such a thought. It was too shocking. Some said that the land of Devil Bone was once a battlefield of the Cataclysm. Wang Xian mumbled to himself as he thought of some guesses about the land of Devil Bone. This was also the closest guess to the answer. Every cataclysm was a calamity for all life. When the cataclysm began, even the pinnacle races in the universe would be annihilated. In fact, it would be considered good if half of the pinnacle races were still alive from the start to the end of each cataclysm. Chapter 3463. The Divine Dragon Race survived 2 catastrophes until they perished together with the insect race. In this era, the Sage Race, Divine Tiger Race, Skeleton Race, and Celestial Nation Race are the new pinnacle races in the universe. Wang Xian thought about the catastrophes. What were catastrophes? They did not exist in Wang Xian's legacy. However, he knew that they were terrifying catastrophes. The land of devil bones was most likely the battlefield of the catastrophes. Otherwise, even a war between 5 to 6 pinnacle races in the universe would not produce so many skeletons. Wang Xian moved and landed on the ground. The skeletons on the ground were extremely hard. He scanned the ground with his dragon eyes but could not see through too many skeletons. Ka-ka-ka. When he stepped on the skeletons, they made cracking sounds. Wang Xian looked around. The entire world was like hell. Some skeletons were tens of thousands of meters in size, like half of a mountain. Some skeletons were piled together, forming a mountain of skeletons. There were also places that were sunken, forming a valley. At a glance, it was extremely desolate. Wang Xian continued to fly towards the center. Swish, swish, swish. After flying for an hour, extremely sharp skeletons suddenly flew out from below. The skeletons covered Wang Xian completely. Is it a devil skeleton or a skeleton? Or could it be a dark attribute expert? How dare you sneak an attack? Wang Xian waved his arm and the skeletons fell down. Bam bam bam. The skeletons fell and made violent collisions. He looked down and raised his eyebrows slightly. Other than sensing something attacking him just now, all he saw were skeletons. It was as though the attack just now was an illusion. What a powerful concealment technique. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows. The land of devil bones was extremely dangerous because one could be attacked if one was not careful. The attack could be from the devil skeleton or some skeletons that had developed intelligence. Some people said that the skeleton race was born in the land of devil bones, but this was yet to be verified. However, it could be said that the skeletons that had developed intelligence could be considered a member of the skeleton race. It shouldn't be a dark attribute expert. Wang Xian scanned the area below calmly. From the attack just now, the attacker should be a pinnacle universe supremacy. It would be very difficult for a darkness attribute cultivator of this level to escape his detection. But now, he couldn't sense it, so he could basically confirm that the other party was a demon skeleton or a skeleton. Demon skeletons and skeletons had powerful concealment abilities in the land of demon bones. They retracted their energy and blended into the skeletons, making it very difficult to discover them. Even if it was an area of effect attack, they would still dive downwards. It was very difficult to kill them. An idea popped up in Wang Xian's mind. Beside him, a figure that looked exactly like him appeared. Dark Ghost. Dark Ghost had the combat power of a second-order universe sovereign. Dark Ghost did not have a physical body, so he could pass through the withered bones. Once he was obstructed, that meant that the withered bones contained energy. This proved whether or not they were the demonic skeleton and skeletons. Roar. With a thought, the humanoid nether ghost transformed into a divine dragon and flew downwards. The huge figure directly passed through the skeletons. He stood above, his eyes scanning the area. Although the dark ghost clone didn't have the primordial sacred wings, it wasn't slow. Whoosh! Suddenly, when dark ghost's clone arrived in front of him, a piece of withered bone began to move and frantically flee. He found it. It should be a demon skeleton. Wang Xian moved his body and chased after the devil skeleton. With a flap of the primordial sacred wings, he immediately arrived above it and reached out to grab it. This was a bird-type demon skeleton, exuding a strong demonic aura. The bones on its body were abnormally sharp and emitted a black glow. Seeing that Wang Xian was about to grab him, Devil Skeleton lifted his claws and attacked him. Bam! A violent collision sounded, and Wang Xian grabbed it in his hand, immobilizing it. This demon skeleton is really a treasure. Wang Xian's eyes lit up when he felt its energy in his hand. This demon skeleton was like a weapon, but it was different. They could be classified as wild beasts. They had no intelligence and only knew how to kill. But because they were special life forms, they could be polished into weapons. The Tai Chi Dragon Plate could absorb them. TSK not bad. If I can encounter more demon skeletons, the Tai Chi Dragon Plate will be able to break through. He murmured. With a move, the Tai Chi Dragon Plate appeared and began to erase the energy of the demon skeleton and absorb it. Continue. He moved his body and continued to fly forward. Wang Xian wasn't arrogant enough to use himself as bait. If a third-order universe Lord Realm Demon Skeleton appeared below, he would be dead. According to rumors, there might be a universe Lord Realm Demon Skeleton here. Wang Xian was flying towards the territory of a race called the Spirit Demon Race. He wanted to get some information so that he could take action. Any living creature could enter the periphery of the Spirit Demon Race. There was a huge trading market there, and it was the only safe place in the land of Demon Bones. Experts from other places came to the land of Demon Bones. When they rested, they would come to the Spirit Demon Race. For the rest of the journey, Wang Xian wasn't attacked again. 5 days later, a huge special region appeared in Wang Xian's sight. It was an incomparably huge skeleton. This skeleton was like a giant as it stood there. This skeleton didn't have any energy and was just a skeleton. It was at least hundreds of thousands of meters tall. Standing there, it was full of power. We're here. Once we pass through this huge skeleton giant, we'll be in the territory of the Spirit Demon Race. No fighting is allowed in this region. Wang Xian looked at the symbol of the skeleton giant and murmured. He moved and entered the interior of the skeleton giant. The territory of the Spirit Demon Race didn't have any city walls to protect it. Wang Xian only saw other living creatures after entering for an hour. There were skeletons with glowing eyes. There were experts with dark attributes wrapped around their bodies. Some of them flew towards the outside, while others flew towards the inside. All of them were cold and silent, and they exuded an unapproachable aura. At the end of the day, this was the territory of skeletons. Skeletons weren't good at communication. Let's go in and see if there's any way to hunt more demon skeletons. Wang Xian looked ahead as he went deeper. A series of strangely shaped buildings appeared in his line of sight. These buildings were all built from dried bones. Some of the buildings were hundreds of thousands of meters tall. They were magnificent and unique. Chapter 3464. The interior of the Spirit Demon Race is a little different from the outside. Wang Xian flew to the interior of the Spirit Demon Race territory. It was different from what he had imagined. He thought it would be deserted. However, the interior was much livelier. There were all sorts of items placed in the unique skeleton buildings. There were also sounds of bargaining. Some skeletons made clanking sounds as they walked. Wang Xian observed and realized that the strength of the skeletons was related to the flames above their heads. Those were skeleton flames. Those at the pinnacle of the universe supremacy realm had 5 skeleton flames shining above their heads. Moreover, the colors of the flames were different. Some of the flames were black, some were red, and some were purple. Skeletons didn't only have dark attributes. There were also fire, lightning, wind, and metal attributes. However, skeletons with other attributes were rare. Wang Xian walked on the ground paved with skeletons and looked around. There were all sorts of shops in the surrounding buildings. Many of them were selling demon skeletons. These demon skeletons could be cultivated and polished into weapons. They could also be absorbed by other skeletons to enhance their strength. Demon skeletons were considered precious materials and treasures in the land of Demon Bones. Here, after walking for 7 to 8 hours, Jian Yun saw a humongous skeleton building. It looked like a skeleton left behind by a giant cosmic beast. The huge mouth was the entrance. At the top, the words, Spirit Demon Race Mission Hall, were written. This mission hall was similar to the mission hall of the 100 Cities Alliance. He entered and a hubbub could be heard from within. The skeletons were all dark attribute cultivators. They were looking at the missions and chatting. Wang Xian walked forward. There were all sorts of missions on the mission board. There were missions to purchase demon skeletons, search for some special divine herbs in the land of Demon Bones, and body parts of sacred blood skeletons. There were also assassination missions. There were at least hundreds of thousands of them. Other than the various missions, the Spirit Demon Race Mission Hall also sold some special information about the land of Demon Bones. This information was confidential and would not be published on the Universe Intelligence Network. Wang Xian was here because of this information. I want to purchase the best information you have here. He walked to a staff member and spoke. The so-called spirit demon race was similar to skeletons. The difference was that they had two forms. One was in a normal state with flesh and blood. The other was when the flesh and blood entered the body during battle, possessing terrifying destructive power. The spirit demon race was very strong, and it was known that they had third-order universe sovereigns. There were even rumors that the spirit demons had the backing of a sovereign king of the skeleton tribe. Wang Xian was not interested in this information. He wanted to know more about the land of devil bones. It would be best if this information could help him find more demon skeletons. Very well, sir. I have top-notch information that is comparable to a Khanate spiritual treasure. Are you sure you want to purchase it? The staff member of the spirit demon clan asked. Yes, give it to me. Wang Xian was slightly taken aback. After hesitating for a moment, he nodded his head. It had to be said that this was quite expensive. However, he had killed a large number of city lords from the 100-City Alliance, and there were even 4 with the wind and lightning attribute. He could take it out and exchange it. All right. Wang Xian handed over the innate spiritual treasure and the other party led him to the back. If you want to view this information, you'll need to sign a contract. If you leak it, you'll be instantly killed. An old man walked over and reminded Wang Xian. All right, I know the rules. Wang Xian nodded his head and a black slate appeared in front of him. Place your hand on it and you'll be able to view all kinds of information. This is the top-notch information of the spirit demon clan. It's definitely worth the money. The old man said. Wang Xian placed his hand on it and waves of information surged into his mind. Soon, he squinted his eyes and a large amount of information about the land of devil bones was imprinted in his mind. Underground Devil Cave City. Abyssal Dried Bone Pool. Land of Blood Plasma. Information appeared one after another. This information could be seen on the Universe AI. However, the information sold by the Spirit Demon Clan included the routes to 70% of the underground Devil Cave City. There were also the weaknesses of some of the skeleton parts in the Abyssal Dried Bone Pool. How to obtain the divine blood contained in the land of blood plasma. All the detailed information made Wang Xian feel that it was worth it. The information isn't bad, right? The old man said with a smile. Very comprehensive. Very good. Wang Xian nodded his head in agreement. Let me remind you that these secret places were explored by the Spirit Demon Clan. In order to obtain this information, many experts have died. This is a treasure land, but it's also a dangerous place. It's common for experts with Universe Lord combat strength to die. The old man reminded kindly. Jian Yun nodded his head. Thank you for the reminder. Underground Devil Cave City, Abyssal Dried Bone Pool, Land of Blood Plasma. These 3 places were the more famous places in the land of Devil Bones. They were also the most dangerous places in the land of Devil Bones. In the underground Devil Cave City, there were a large number of demon skeletons. According to the information of the Spirit Demon Clan, there might be many third-order Universe Lord demon skeletons in the deepest part, in the Abyssal Dried Bone Pool. On the other hand, it was a messy area filled with bones, densely packed together. Some people had once found many innate spiritual treasures in it. However, there were some skeletons that had gained sentience. They were piecing their bodies together and hunting various experts. The land of blood plasma was a special place. There were no dried bones there. It was rumored that it was a place where blood gathered. In this place, it was possible to obtain some divine blood that contained majestic energy. This god's blood possessed great power. Similarly, there was a blood ferret desolate beast clan living here. These blood ferret desolate beasts were extremely terrifying. Even second-order Universe Lord combat strength experts could have their blood devoured. In short, all of them were dangerous places. However, they were also treasure lands. Wang Xian walked out of the Spirit Demon Clan's mission hall. He was deep in thought. The 3 treasure lands were also 3 dangerous places. It didn't matter where he went. Let's go to the underground Devil Cave City and hunt some demon skeletons. I need to upgrade the Tai Chi Dragon Plate as soon as possible. Wang Xian muttered to himself as he flew quickly in one direction. In the sky, there were many experts flying in the void. Through his senses, He could sense that the number of experts here was much higher than that of the 100 Cities Alliance. Basically, there were no experts below the Universe Lord level. However, the number of living beings here could not be compared to the 100 Cities Alliance. To survive in the land of Devil Bones, one needs at least the strength of a Universe Lord. Wang Xian muttered to himself as he increased his speed. Chapter 3465. The underground Devil Cave City was just like its name. It was a city located underground. Instead of calling it a city, it was more like a maze. Tunnels were dug out from the underground, and there were many devil skeletons living in these tunnels. These tunnels were densely packed and intertwined. Once one ventured deep inside, it would be extremely difficult to escape from the top. Therefore, those who dared to venture deep inside were not weaklings. Moreover, because of the intricacies inside, it was easy to get lost inside. If one wanted to return, most of them would return directly to their own god nation. Wang Xian's first target was this place. He wanted to see if he could hunt some devil skeletons. The information he bought from the spirit demon race contained the route to 70% of the underground Devil Cave City. As long as he did not exceed the route on the map, he would not get lost. Other than these, there were also certain places that were more dangerous and certain places that were safer. After flying for half a month in the land of Devil Bone, Wang Xian finally arrived at the location of the underground Devil Cave City. This was a huge crater made of dried bones. Below it, there were huge entrances. There were tens of thousands of entrances, and each entrance led to a different place. Some entrances would connect to each other as one ventured deeper. In short, this place was extremely complicated. Even experts at the level of a Universe Lord would get lost inside without a map. Wang Xian recalled the route on the map in his mind. He moved and flew towards the entrance. The land of Devil Bone was extremely dangerous. One would not only have to face the devil skeletons, but also other cultivators. Killing each other in the land of Devil Bone was a normal phenomenon as long as one was not in a safe city or within the territory of a race. After Wang Xian entered, he felt that it was dark inside, and he was surrounded by densely packed bones. Be it above or below, a timid person would probably be fearful if he was here. There were all kinds of skeletons. There were humans, demonic beasts, galactic beasts, and everything else. Wang Xian flew towards the depths quickly. There were many experts entering the periphery every day, and it was impossible for there to be any devil skeletons. The powerful devil skeletons were all located in the depths. This terrain is really complicated. Some places are even dead ends. Wang Xian shuttled through and delved deeper according to the memories in his mind. In just over 10 minutes, he encountered more than 10 forks. He continued deeper. Perhaps the devil skeletons could sense the heart-palpitating energy from Wang Xian, so he was not attacked along the way. Wang Xian only stopped when he reached the warning location on the map in his mind. According to the spirit demon race's information, the deeper we go, the more dangerous place will be. There are demon skeletons at the peak of the universe supremacy realm and above. We have to be careful. Even first and second order universe sovereigns might fall here. Wang Xian murmured. His eyes flickered and a shadow that looked exactly like him appeared beside him. Dark Ghost's clone appeared on the side. The Dark Ghost doppelganger ignored physical attacks. Unless the demon skeleton's attacks contained elemental attributes, they would not be able to deal any damage. In the land of Demon Bone, Dark Ghost had a lot of advantages. The demonic skeletons and skeletons of the land of Devil Bones were all skilled in physical attacks. This was because their bodies had already become terrifyingly tough after the passage of time. On the other hand, they were much worse at using their attributes. In addition, Dark Ghost could hide within the bones and ignore the impact of the bones. Thus, Dark Ghost was very suited to this place. Wang Xian controlled Dark Ghost to fly in front, his dark eyes scanning the surroundings. Dark Ghosts weren't weak, and because they didn't have a physical body, they were a great counter to demon skeletons. Dark Ghost continued to advance while Wang Xian watched from behind. Soon, the scenery around them changed a little. In this region, large skeletons appeared. Each skeleton was hundreds of thousands of meters wide and supported a space. The huge head stared at one spot, looking a little horrifying. When the dark ghost doppelganger reached the huge skull, a black spear shot towards it. With terrifying speed, it instantly reached Dark Ghost's head. Dark Ghost raised his head and formed a defense. He easily blocked the black energy, but the spear pierced through the Dark Ghost doppelganger's body. Although the spear pierced through, it had no effect on the Dark Ghost doppelganger. First Order Universe Sovereign Level Combat Power, Demon Skeleton. Seeing this, Wang Xian's face lit up with joy. Dark Ghost's body instantly flew upwards. Above them, a demonic skeleton instantly flew towards the withered bones in the sky. Above, there was a complicated cave. Clearly, it had prepared an escape route. But Dark Ghost was faster, and it ignored the collision. Its arms turned into dragon claws and swiped at him. Ka-ka-ka. The demon skeleton let out the sound of bones colliding as it tried to escape. But the dragon claws wrapped around it, and the power of darkness bound it, making it unable to break free. Swoosh. At this time, Wang Xian's figure flew over at a terrifying speed, directly grabbing the demon skeleton. The first one, not bad, not bad. His face lit up with joy. He only needed to capture a dozen more of these demon skeletons, and the Tai Chi Dragon Board would be able to break through. Continue. After witnessing the benefits of the Dark Ghost, Wang Xian continued exploring ahead. The tunnels were densely packed, and from time to time, a dozen forks appeared. According to the map in his mind, he identified a place and continued to go deeper. This is a human head grass. After traversing the depths for 2 days, Wang Xian suddenly discovered a treasure. A second-order universe sovereign-level divine grass, human head grass. The so-called human head grass was relatively rare in the land of devil bones. It was a divine grass that grew on the skulls of bones. This kind of divine grass might contain the laws of the deceased when they were alive, or some cultivation insights. Similarly, it also contained a huge amount of energy. This kind of human head grass was very popular among experts, and its value was more than 3 times that of the same level of divine grass. I didn't expect my luck to be so good to actually encounter a human head grass. But there should be demon skeletons guarding the vicinity. Wang Xian muttered, his dragon eyes scanning the surroundings warily. He controlled Dark Ghost to fly in the direction of the human head grass, and at the same time he looked around warily. Crackle, crackle. When Dark Ghost was still extremely far away from the human head grass, bolts of lightning suddenly fell, completely covering Dark Ghost. Dark Ghost's avatar moved, directly diving into the bones below. The power of lightning landed on the bones, but it didn't hurt them at all. Dark Ghost's special body allowed him to be like a fish in water here. At the very least, he could ignore the terrain when fleeing. Unless the skeletons around him contained energy, or there was a formation in the surroundings, what the hell is this? How can it directly enter the bones? Be careful! A voice suddenly rang out. Chapter 3466. There's someone here? Is this a trap? Wang Xian was taken aback by the sudden voice. He stared ahead with extreme vigilance in his eyes. Using a human head grass as bait was an extremely rare occurrence. This human head grass was a second-order universe sovereign. It was extremely valuable. The expert who used this as bait was definitely not weak. Wang Xian hid himself at the back and stared at the position in front of him with vigilance. However, he did not sense any energy fluctuations in front of him. In other words, other than the voice, he had not discovered the other party's location. This shocked him. The other party was probably very strong. However, if you guys don't come out, I'll take the human head grass. Wang Xian narrowed his eyes. Dark Ghost's avatar could ignore the attacks of the skeletons. He controlled Dark Ghost to approach the human head grass from below. Soon, Dark Ghost's avatar was only 10,000 meters away from the human head grass. As long as he sped up, he would be able to obtain it. However, Wang Xian suddenly had an uneasy feeling. He stared ahead and hesitated for a moment. Dark Ghost's avatar waved its palm, sending waves of energy towards the human head grass. In the next moment, A skeleton beneath the human head grass started to move. A surge of energy surged out of its body and attacked Dark Ghost's avatar. I've locked onto him. This fellow is a little strange. Kill him. The skeleton roared and passed through the skeletons, arriving in front of Dark Ghost's avatar. Boom! Dark Ghost's avatar did not hesitate. It opened its mouth and a wave of black flames attacked the skeleton. Ka. He's a second-order sovereign. Kill him and absorb him. At this moment, 3 more figures started moving in the surroundings. One was a humanoid skeleton with a bone knife in its hand. The other was in the shape of a demonic beast. It opened its huge mouth and attacked Dark Ghost. In an instant, the 3 skeletons surrounded Dark Ghost. Each skeleton's strength was at the second-order universe sovereign realm. Behind them, Wang Xian was slightly taken aback when he saw this scene. He had never imagined that there would be 3 second-order universe sovereigns hidden here. Were they lying in ambush here to hunt other experts, or to hunt demon skeletons? Or it could be both. 3 second-order sovereigns were more than capable of killing a single second-order sovereign realm expert. This was also why they dared to use the human headgrass as bait. If it was an ordinary expert encountering such a situation, they might really die here. But this time, you guys are out of luck. Wang Xian's eyes sparkled. This hunting team was probably the best in the entire Demon Bone land. After all, an expert of this level was also a top expert in the land of Demon Bone. The 3 of them teamed up to hunt, and almost killed one that came. However, they met Wang Xian. Wang Xian fixed his eyes on the humanoid skeleton. He flapped his unbeginning sacred wings and attacked him at a terrifying speed. Die! The humanoid skeleton raised its bone blade and slashed at Dark Ghost. Suddenly, a sense of danger enveloped his heart. Oh no! The skeleton fire above his head pulsated violently, and the bones in his body rapidly changed. His original human form had shrunk into a skull ball. Bam bam! Wang Xian's dragon claw slashed above, and the sound of metal clashing could be heard. This caused his expression to change slightly. There's another expert. Be careful! The humanoid skeleton hurriedly shouted. Surround one and kill him! The 2 skeletons that were besieging Dark Ghost's doppelganger bellowed. Courting death! Seeing that they had not given up, Wang Xian's eyes flashed coldly. He waved his palm, and the 5 elements grindstone flew out, continuing its attack on the skeletons that had shrunk into a ball. Walala! At the same time, chains spread out in all directions and completely surrounded the human walking skeleton. Boom! The 5 elements grindstone began to revolve, and with a wave of destructive energy, it continued its attack on the skeletons that had shrunk into a ball. Oh no, the opponent is very strong. Come and help me. At this moment, the humanoid skeleton sensed danger and bellowed. Too late. Wang Xian flapped his unbeginning sacred wings, and instantly appeared behind the humanoid skeleton. His arm turned into a dragon claw, and the dragon claw emitted the power of light as it clawed at the skeleton. Light, this is bad. The humanoid skeleton's expression changed drastically. His defense was very strong, but light and darkness were the nemesis. If he only focused on defense when attacked by light, the damage would be twice as high as other elemental attacks. BZZT. The light dragon claw landed on it, and a unique sound rang out. Boom! At this moment, the terrifying collision sounds of the 5 elements grindstone continued. Cracks appeared on the humanoid skeleton's body. Its skeleton fire danced violently, and it was filled with fear. Save me! It hurriedly shouted. What? Damn it, how can the opponent be so strong? The other 2 second-order universe sovereign skeletons were shocked, and they quickly attacked Wang Xian. Ghostly claw! In front of them, Dark Ghost's doppelganger waved its hand, and hideous claws attacked them. Light chain! Wang Xian ignored the attacks of the 2 skeletons, and the chains completely bound the humanoid skeleton. The 5 elements grindstone revolved, and an earth shield appeared in front of Wang Xian. The earth shield easily blocked the attacks of the 2 skeletons. The opponent is strong, run. His strength is too strange. He's much stronger than ordinary second-order universe sovereigns. Run, run. The other two skeletons saw the humanoid skeleton being caught, and their expressions changed drastically as they fled in anger. Bam! They plunged into the skeleton, and the energy dissipated rapidly. Wang Xian grabbed the humanoid skeleton's body, and his expression changed as he looked at the direction where the two skeletons had disappeared. His dragon eyes stared in that direction, but he couldn't lock on to the opponent. What a powerful concealment and escape technique. He was shocked, and then he looked at the skeleton in his hand with joy. This was a skeleton that had gained sentience, and it had the combat strength of a second-order universe sovereign. Its body was extremely tough, and it could even withstand a full-force attack from Wang Xian. If not for the 5 elements grindstone, Wang Xian would never be able to suppress it alone. But this is a pleasant surprise. With just this skeleton, the Tai Chi Dragon Plate can achieve a breakthrough. Wang Xian's eyes lit up. Chapter 3467. Other than a second-order universe sovereign fighting skeleton, there was another huge reward. That was the human head grass. The human head grass was a treasure. No, no, don't kill me, don't kill me. The skeleton in Wang Xian's hands begged for mercy. I'm willing to give you all my treasures. Don't kill me. 3 second-order universe sovereigns are hunting here. You guys should have gained a lot, right? Wang Xian looked at him and chuckled. Sir, please let me go. As long as you let me go, I'll give you all the treasures in my god kingdom. These are definitely more valuable than the bounty from the spirit demon race. Please let me go. The skeleton continued. Bounty from the spirit demon race? Wang Xian raised his brows slightly and stared at him with flickering eyes. He did not expect the spirit demon race to put a bounty on this guy. It seemed like they had killed quite a number of experts. The fact that they could live so comfortably under the spirit demon race's bounty had a lot to do with their strength. This skeleton and the other two were indeed invincible when they joined forces. It was a pity that they had met Wang Xian this time. I'll take your life, and I'll take your other belongings as well. Wang Xian stared at him and waved his palm, landing a heavy blow on his head. The 8 wisps of skeleton fire on his head instantly dimmed, and a few of them showed signs of extinguishing. This defense is really tough. Wang Xian muttered and landed another palm on it. Soul assimilation. Then, with a thought, the dancing flames in his eyes stopped. Summon your god kingdom. He ordered. The severely injured skeleton answered mechanically. Soon, a god kingdom appeared behind him. However, this skeleton's god kingdom was a little strange and special. This skeleton's god kingdom was in the shape of a coffin and was only 10,000 meters in size. This was considered a very small existence in a god kingdom. Wang Xian walked over and immediately opened the coffin god kingdom. Everything inside was reflected in his eyes. The entire coffin god kingdom was bare and there were pitifully few things inside. Some divine herbs and elixir pills were at the universe sovereign level. However, there were no demonic skeletons inside. After thinking about it, it made sense. Skeletons could absorb each other to evolve. After they killed each other, they could also absorb each other's energy. However, there were a total of 6 connate numinous treasures, all of which were of the darkness attribute. This could greatly improve the Tai Chi Dragon board. Apart from that, a special treasure caught his attention. It was a reddish-pink skeleton that contained an enormous amount of energy. It was a palm, a pink human palm. Within the pink palm, there were 2 types of energy. One was of the darkness attribute, and the other was of the fire attribute. Wang Xian was a little taken aback by the fact that it was a skeletal palm with 2 attributes. The power of this pink palm is extremely strong, even stronger than a connate spiritual treasure. Was it left behind by a fallen expert? If that's the case, then just how strong was this expert? Wang Xian looked at the pink palm and mumbled to himself. If this palm hadn't matured in its later stages, then the owner of this palm must have been too terrifying when he was alive. He was definitely not an ordinary universe ruler realm expert. His true cultivation might have reached the 2nd or 3rd order universe sovereign realm, or even higher. It's a pity that I can't use it to improve the Tai Chi Dragon board and the 5 elements grind. Wang Xian felt a little regretful. The Tai Chi Dragon Board and the 5 elements grind couldn't absorb the 2 attributes of the palm. I'll keep it. I might be able to use it in the future. He kept it well, looked at the skeleton in front of him, and destroyed it with a palm strike. The Tai Chi Dragon Board appeared around him, allowing him to absorb it. Wang Xian looked around. He decided to continue hunting for more demon skeletons after the Tai Chi Dragon Board was upgraded. He moved and came to the back. He burrowed into the skeleton and began to help the Tai Chi Dragon Board refine the skeleton. Time passed, day by day. Just as the Tai Chi Dragon Board was upgrading, 5 figures flew over from the land of demon bones. What a detestable aura. Kill that guy as soon as possible and leave. I don't want to stay here for another day. In the sky above the underground Devil Cave City, a figure with a huge eye and 4 dragon horns on his head flew over at high speed. The one who spoke was a middle-aged man. He had an irritated look on his face. He had dragon horns on his head, and his body contained the pure might of the divine dragon. His body was like the sun. This was the sacred dragon, the light divine dragon of the sacred dragon bloodline. 4 purebred light divine dragons. With 4 Lord Divine Dragons, it'll be a piece of cake to destroy him. Red Eye said plainly. Find him as soon as possible. After destroying him, we still have to hunt the ancestral dragon bloodline. One of the light divine dragons urged. Don't worry. I have one of the Alliance leader's eyes. I can find him easily. Red Eye replied. The eye in his hand glowed. He's right in front. Swish, swish, swish. The 5 figures flew over quickly and arrived in the sky above the underground Devil Cave City. He's inside. This is the underground Devil Cave City of the land of demon bones. It's extremely complicated inside. Red Eye looked over with a hint of helplessness in his voice. Can't your Alliance leader's eyes accurately lock onto his position? One of the light divine dragons asked with a frown. We can lock onto his position, but we can't lock onto his route. Lord Divine Dragons, you can check this place on the AI. It's troublesome. I suggest we lie in ambush here and wait for him to come out. Red Eye suggested. Lie in ambush here? If he doesn't come out for a few decades, do we have to lie and wait here? If he returns to his own holy kingdom, won't we be waiting in vain? The light divine dragon said. If he returns to his own holy kingdom, our Lord's eyes will be able to lock onto the position of his holy kingdom. Red Eye said, let's wait here. Even if it takes a few decades, it's just a little time. The light divine dragon, who looked the oldest, said. He looked around and said, lie in ambush and conceal yourself. All right. The other 3 light divine dragons nodded. This was an order from their sacred dragon king. They had to carry it out. The 5 figures moved and hid in the surroundings, quietly waiting for Wang Xian to appear. Wang Xian didn't know there were experts lying in ambush outside. He also didn't expect the experts of the 100 Cities Alliance to find their way here. A month later, the Tai Chi Dragon Board rotated with light and darkness, unleashing a powerful force. The Tai Chi Dragon Board had broken through. Chapter 3468. The roars of the divine dragons could be heard. 1 light and 1 darkness, the 2 divine dragons intertwined like an ink painting. He circled around Wang Xian's body. The thick and heavy energy seemed to have isolated him in a special world. It could not be eroded by the outside world. Looking at the 2 divine dragons, Wang Xian revealed a faint smile. The Tai Chi Dragon Board had finally caught up with his current strength. The powerful Tai Chi Dragon Board was something that even a second-order universe sovereign would find difficult to break. Without a powerful weapon, Wang Xian could stand there and the enemy could not hurt him. With my current strength and defense, as long as I'm not unlucky enough to meet a third-order universe sovereign in the Devil Cave City, I won't be in any danger. Wang Xian revealed a smile on his face. With a swift move, he emerged from the skeleton and landed on the ground with his comrades. Beside him, Dark Ghost's doppelganger appeared. With a thought, the Tai Chi Dragon Board appeared around him. Continue. With a thought, Wang Xian sent his doppelgangers to scout the way ahead while he remained in the same position as before. The doppelganger retracted its aura and moved forward bit by bit. 10 days later, Wang Xian sensed a trace of energy fluctuation in front of him. Nether Ghost's figure flickered, and he immediately flew down. Ka. Soon, a demon skeleton was caught by Dark Ghost's doppelganger. This was a Pinnacle Universe Venerable Realm demon skeleton that was hidden below and was discovered. Wang Xian waved his arm and kept it. After killing the humanoid skeleton, this level of demonic skeletons could no longer surprise him. At least if he wanted to upgrade the Tai Chi Dragon board again, a demon skeleton of this level would not be very useful. But mosquitoes were still meat. Besides, this was not a mosquito. Wang Xian continued to move forward and deeper. Days passed. Inside the Devil Cave City, Wang Xian was indeed an invincible existence. Along the way, the demon skeletons that were discovered were easily suppressed by him. For an entire year, Wang Xian killed 5 First-Order Universe Sovereign Realm Devil Skeletons and 1 Second-Order Universe Sovereign Realm Devil Skeleton. There were more than a dozen Peak Universe Venerables. I've reached the end of the map. A year later, Wang Xian came to the end of the map of the Spirit Demon race. According to the tip at the end of the Spirit Demon race's information, the chances of encountering a Third-Order Universe Sovereign Realm Devil Skeleton would increase if one ventured deeper. Of course, it was just an increase in probability. In the entire underground Devil Cave City, there were very few Third-Order Sovereign Realm Devil Skeletons. There's no need to take the risk. In any case, the Tai Chi Dragon Plate has already been upgraded. Wang Xian pondered for a moment and decided not to delve any deeper. After all, there was a trace of danger. He had come here mainly to kill demonic skeletons to improve his Taiji Dragon Plate. Now that he had improved it, there was no need for him to take the risk. He could go to the other passageways to continue looking around. Wang Xian returned and entered another passageway. 2 months passed. Perhaps it was due to bad luck, but they didn't encounter a single universe ruler rank devil skeleton. This was to be expected. The first route he took was the one recorded by the Spirit Demon race that had more demon skeletons. The Spirit Demon race's information was indeed true. The other passageways had much fewer locations than this one. Let's go to the Abyss Dried Bone Pool. Wang Xian made his decision. The Spirit Demon race also had a very detailed record of the Dried Bones Abyssal Pool. He could go there and take a look. The Dried Bones Abyssal Pool was different from the underground Devil Cave City. The Dried Bones Abyssal Pool was filled with dried bone parts. For example, an arm bone, a palm bone, a skull bone. However, these parts should not be underestimated. Some bone parts had gained sentience and were no weaker than devil skeletons. There were even some bones that joined their own bodies. For example, if a skull developed a trace of intelligence, it would look for parts below the head to join its body. Often, a skull with sentience would suppress other bones with sentience and join them together to form its own body. This would allow it to explode with even more terrifying and bizarre abilities. To a certain extent, the Dried Bones Abyssal Pool was more dangerous than the underground Devil Cave City. However, Wang Xian was prepared to steadily improve and go to a safer place according to the Spirit Demon race's information. He would be very satisfied if he could harvest 1 or 2 Second-Order Universe Ruler rank bones. Moving his body, Wang Xian quickly flew out according to the route on the map in his mind. Because he was going back, his speed was faster. Some devil skeletons and experts who entered this place immediately dodged after sensing Wang Xian's aura. Coming out of the underground Devil Cave City, Wang Xian felt the world brightening up and smiled. He looked in a direction and immediately flew over. Just as he was about to fly up, a spear suddenly pierced towards him. The sudden light spear made Wang Xian's body tense up and his pupils dilated. He did not notice the strangeness around him. Moreover, this spear was exceptionally horrifying. Bam! Before Wang Xian could react, the spear was already in front of him. The Tai Chi Dragon Plate rotated automatically and surrounded him. The light spear landed on it and made a violent collision. The energy condensed by the Tai Chi Dragon Plate cracked slowly. Fortunately, the Tai Chi Dragon Plate blocked it. Moreover, a wave of energy was reflected. A strange energy fell down from the sky. The energy instantly landed on the body of the old man with the dragon horn on his head. A large amount of blood sprayed from his mouth, and his body was sent flying backward. What kind of strange ability is this? The old man's eyes widened and were filled with shock and disbelief. What? Attack first. Red Eye World Seal. A scream was heard. The red eye's expression changed. He raised the huge eye in his hand and overlapped it with the eye on his head. Wang wang wang. In the next moment, the whole world changed. A blood-red eye hung in the sky. The whole world was blood-red. This was the world of the red eye. It could seal the surrounding space and prevent people from returning to their own holy kingdom instantly. Ambush? When Wang Xian saw the drastic changes in the surrounding space, he fixed his gaze on his surroundings. 3 old men with dragon horns on their heads, their bodies brimming with the power of light, flashed around them as they attacked Xiao Qin. Light Divine Dragon. Wang Xian's expression changed and his eyes were filled with murderous intent. Sacred Dragon Bloodline. You are experts from the Sacred Dragon Bloodline. My dragon palace did not provoke you. Why are you attacking me? A dying black dragon doesn't need to know so much. The pale-faced old man in the middle roared coldly. His figure transformed into a radiant divine dragon that charged towards Wang Xian. Chapter 3469. Hee. It seems like the 100 Cities Alliance has become the lackey of the Sacred Dragon Bloodline. Wang Xian's eyes gleamed coldly when he heard them. Now he was absolutely sure. You must die for destroying the cities of the 100 Cities Alliance. You're just the beginning. Your dragon palace will be annihilated soon. The red eyes stared at Wang Xian as the eyes on his head glowed red. In this space, densely packed blood-red eyes stared at Wang Xian. These eyes made Wang Xian extremely uncomfortable. He could feel a strange energy invading his body. This was a very special kind of attack, a very special kind of invasion. The Tai Chi dragon plate had already cracked and would need some time to recover. The attack from the radiant spear was extremely terrifying. If it was an ordinary second-order universe sovereign, he would have been slain by now. This was definitely not an ordinary innate spiritual treasure. However, even though the Tai Chi dragon plate had cracked, the attacker wasn't feeling good either. Wang Xian's Tai Chi dragon plate had absorbed the energy from the Pond of Curses and possessed the ability to rebound. The attack that he had just suffered had also rebounded onto the attacker, severely injuring him instantly. Be careful, this guy is a little strange. Finish him off quickly. At this moment, the severely injured old man from the Sacred Dragon Bloodline reminded with an ugly expression. Sacred Dragon Lock, destroy. The 3 radiant divine dragons roared as energy locks appeared above his head and attacked Wang Xian. Wang Xian stared at them with glistening eyes. A lackey who betrayed the Divine Dragon clan. You guys are not worthy of being called divine dragons. Kill me? I'll annihilate all of you today. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. He wasn't the least bit intimidated by 4 experts of the same level. The unbeginning sacred wings appeared behind him and flapped. Wang Xian circulated the energy within his body and transformed into the darkness dragon. The 5 elements grindstone gradually appeared above his head. Roar. He roared and immediately transformed into the darkness dragon. With a swipe of his dragon claws, it landed on the 5 elements grindstone. The 5 elements grindstone expanded rapidly and headed towards the 3 radiant divine dragons. At the same time, Wang Xian swung his dragon claws. Energy condensed into claws and attacked the blood-red eyes in the void. Bam bam bam. In an instant, sounds of collision reverberated as the eyes were destroyed. Boom boom boom. The lock formed from light collided with the 5 elements grindstone in front of him. The 5 elements grindstone floated in the air. The 5 elements revolved and turned into a destructive force. That terrifying light lock was slowly crushed and disappeared. What kind of connate numinous treasure is this? Why is it so powerful? The expressions of the 3 light divine dragons changed drastically, filled with astonishment. Crush. At this moment, Wang Xian flapped his unbeginning sacred wings and disappeared instantly. The next moment, he appeared in front of the injured light divine dragon. Not good, stop him. The light divine dragon's expression changed drastically as he roared in shock and anger. What a terrifying speed. Even after being invaded by the red eye, it's still not affected much. Hong Yan's expression changed slightly. He raised the eye in his hand and the red eye in the sky above this world descended into a beam of light and attacked Wang Xian. Buzz. At this moment, the dark ghost doppelganger flew out from Wang Xian's body. The nether ghost clone roared and charged toward the beam of red light. Wang Xian continued his attack on the injured light divine dragon. Damn it, what the hell is this? When the injured light divine dragon saw a shadow charging toward the attack of the red eye, his expression changed drastically. Disregarding his injuries, he dodged to the side immediately. Crash! But how could his speed compare to Wang Xian's? Wang Xian arrived in front of him in an instant. The light divine dragon lifted his head in horror and released beams of light force in an attempt to block Wang Xian's attack. Wang Xian's dragon claws grabbed at him, ignoring the attack of the light force and grabbing his body directly. Save me! A pained voice came from his mouth. Behind him, the expressions of the other three light divine dragons changed drastically. This is the dark ghost doppelganger. He still has the dark ghost doppelganger. With red eyes, he roared in disbelief. Dark ghost doppelganger. This was the trump card of the Nether clan and the terrifying ability of the Nether clan. Even if others obtained the dark ghost doppelganger, it would be difficult for them to nurture it into their doppelganger. Without the unique physique and method of the dark ghost clan, it was impossible to turn the dark ghost into one's doppelganger. However, this expert from the Dragon Palace had it. Hong Yan was shocked and in disbelief. Divine light, block it? One of the light divine dragons looked over with an ugly expression. Subduing Dragon Mountain. He let out a wild roar, and a mountain containing powerful light energy and terrifying energy appeared above his head. Within the mountain peak, there were carvings of the wings of the radiant angels. In the middle, there was a sword of the great angel. Subduing Dragon Mountain was created by the Angel clan for the sacred dragon lineage. It had a great suppression effect on the divine dragons. The subduing Dragon Mountain appeared and pressed down on the 5 elements grindstone. Within the 5 elements grindstone, the 5 divine dragons let out furious roars and attacked subduing Dragon Mountain with all kinds of weapons. However, under the suppression of subduing Dragon Mountain, the weapons were destroyed one by one. You guys reinforce me. I'll go and save divine light. That light divine dragon let out a frenzied roar and charged towards Wang Xian. The other 2 light divine dragons injected waves of light force into subduing Dragon Mountain to resist the 5 elements grindstone. Trying to save him? Dream on. I'll see who's going to kill who today. Wang Xian roared. The unbeginning sacred wings on his back flapped violently. Waves of wind and thunder force attacked the light divine dragon below. His defense was crumbling rapidly. Light divine tail. Behind him, the light divine dragon that came to support swayed its gigantic tail and swept it towards Wang Xian. Swoosh! Wang Xian grabbed the light divine dragon below him and flapped his unbeginning sacred wings. He quickly landed on the ground to avoid the attack of the dragon's tail. The dragon claw slammed him heavily onto the ground. Intense screams came from the mouth of the light divine dragon below. What a strong recovery ability! Wang Xian looked at him. Even such a powerful attack couldn't kill him. This was a divine dragon, the light divine dragon. However, no matter how strong his recovery ability is, he still has to die. From Wang Xian's dragon claw, waves of dark force surged into his body and depleted his life force. Save me, save me! A cry for help came from his mouth, and his face was filled with fear. Chapter 3470. You're courting death. Let him go. The Radiance divine dragon in the sky was enraged when he saw Wang Xian attacking his comrade continuously. He roared and attacked Wang Xian again. Tisk, courting death? You guys are the ones who are courting death. Wang Xian's eyes were filled with murderous intent. He flapped his wings, grabbed the Radiance divine dragon, and flew to the side. This Radiance Divine Dragon was already severely injured. The continuous attacks rendered him immobile. Wang Xian was not affected at all as he carried him. Moreover, as Wang Xian flew, waves of horrifying dark energy continued to ravage his body. "Stop it!" The Radiance Divine Dragon was shocked as he chased after Wang Xian. However, his speed was no match for Wang Xian. He could not catch up at all. "Take revenge for me." Soon, the Radiance Divine Dragon let out an indignant roar filled with murderous intent. "Divine Light!" The other 3 Radiance Divine Dragons looked at him and roared with bloodshot eyes. Bam! Wang Xian grabbed his body and landed heavily on the ground. He waved his arm and kept the corpse of the Radiance Divine Dragon. "You're next." He stared coldly at the Radiance Divine Dragon that had been attacking him. Swoosh! The unbeginning Saint Wings flapped and Wang Xian came to the other side at a terrifying speed. "Oh no, he's too fast and he has too many powerful treasures. We can't kill him." The Radiance Divine Dragon was shocked as he roared loudly. He released a Radiance Dragon scale that floated around him. Bam! Wang Xian's attack landed on the scale and was blocked. Boom! In the next moment, Wang Xian bombarded the Radiance Divine Dragon in front of him with his speed. The Radiance Divine Dragon had no way to retaliate against Wang Xian's speed. Unless he attacked from all directions, he could not touch Wang Xian at all. He was completely suppressed. However, Wang Xian could rely on his speed to fight 1 against 3 and even kill those of the same level. But he had to catch them off guard first. For example, this Radiance Divine Dragon was fully prepared and defended with all his might. Wang Xian could not kill him in a short time. Especially the Radiance Divine Dragon that was known for its healing abilities. "Let's go back. Retreat. Just you wait, our sacred dragon bloodline will soon take your head." The 3 divine light dragons and red eyes stared at Wang Xian and bellowed. They immediately began to converge. Dragon-subduing mountains shake. The 3 light divine dragons gradually converged, and a terrifying wave of light swept out in all directions. Red Eye World, explode. Seeing that they were about to leave, Hong Yen roared with an ugly expression. Boom! A loud sound rang out, and the whole world seemed to be collapsing. Wang Xian sensed the surges of energy and retreated continuously. The Tai Chi Dragon Coil had yet to recover, so it was not easy for him to block these waves of energy. The 3 light divine dragons and the red-eyed figure began to turn illusory and disappeared. Wang Xian stood at the back and watched them leave. He couldn't stop it either. These Radiance Divine Dragons and Red Eye were stronger than ordinary Second-Order Universe Sovereigns. At the very least, it was much stronger than the Second-Order Universe Sovereign Realm skeletons he had encountered. In particular, the first strike of their spears had caused cracks to appear on the Tai Chi Dragon Plate. If not for the Tai Chi Dragon Plate, he would definitely be heavily injured. I wonder when Lingling will wake up. If she wakes up, I should be able to keep one of them alive. Wang Xian muttered. Lingling was still in a deep slumber due to overexertion and Wang Xian's breakthrough, waiting for an upgrade. I have to be more careful from now on. The ambush this time had surprised Wang Xian. He had already changed his energy, but the other party could still find his location and confirm that he was here. This kind of method was astonishing. This time, the other party had underestimated his strength. The next time, they would definitely send someone stronger. Especially when the Sacred Dragon bloodline was involved. The next ambush would probably be a Third-Order Universe Sovereign Radiance Divine Dragon. Within the Sacred Dragon bloodline, there were at least a dozen experts of this level. The Tai Chi Dragon Plate will recover in a few months. I'll head to the Abyss Skull Pool first. Wang Xian thought to himself. With a jerk of his body, he flew towards a direction. What was that battle just now? Divine Dragon? Why is there radiance energy? Was it an ambush by the Sacred Dragon bloodline against the Ancestral Dragon bloodline? It seems like they didn't succeed. Some experts from the land of Devil Bone murmured in shock as they saw Wang Xian leaving. That stand just now had shocked many experts in the surroundings. While Wang Xian was on his way, he was at the Endless Radiance Mountain. Dragon roars and growls could be heard occasionally. At a faraway location, above the sacred mountain, there were several sacred palaces floating in the air. This was the border of the Angel clan. Located within a radiance mountain, 3 divine dragons flew rapidly towards the huge sacred mountain with a divine dragon stone statue. Divine light has fallen. As the 3 radiance divine dragons approached the sacred mountain, an authoritative voice sounded. Yes, Sacred Dragon King. That Dragon Palace expert is extremely powerful. Not only does he have powerful treasures, but he also has the doppelganger of Dark Ghost. Even if we join forces with Red Eyes from the 100 Cities Alliance, we won't be a match for him. The 3 Radiance Divine Dragons replied with bitter expressions. I understand, son. Father. Take the Dragon Eyes with you and go kill it. Yes, father. A voice sounded from within the sacred mountain. Soon, a huge Radiance Divine Dragon with a length of about 10,000 meters flew out and came before the 3 Divine Dragons outside. Greetings, Sacred Dragon Son. The 3 Divine Dragons bowed respectfully immediately. Contact the people from the 100 Cities Alliance. Bring me there to kill him and avenge Divine Light. Sacred Dragon Son said coldly. Yes, Sacred Dragon Son. With the treasure of our Sacred Dragon bloodline, the Dragon Eyes, we can definitely kill him easily. The 3 Divine Dragons answered immediately. We're here, the Abyss Skull Pool. At the same time, in the land of Devil Bone, Wang Xian came to the front of the Abyss Skull Pool with a smile. The Abyss Skull Pool was a huge depression. The huge pit was filled with all kinds of bones. This place wasn't like the underground Devil Cave City, where there were tunnels. If one wanted to obtain some skeletons with energy, he would have to dive into it. Using the bones as water, he could travel through it. As they were all bone parts, it was easier to travel through it. However, the danger here was much higher than the underground Devil Cave City. If I dive in, the 100 Cities Alliance and the Sacred Dragon bloodline can only use the same method to ambush me. It's almost impossible to pinpoint my location. Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he flew down. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.